it's Emily Miller. I'm taping this video immediately after I just got off Newsmax show with Sean Spicer because I figured something went wrong on that interview, and I'm just going to explain to you what happened. So when you do TV interviews, you have to actually, now that everything's remote, this is a pandemic thing. I used to always be in a studio, and I quite frankly like a studio because everything's preset. I've got someone behind the camera, I've got people setting up the lights, someone checking my audio. And so now that everything in the pandemic, they put all the guests for TV or home, we have to figure this stuff out ourselves. And it's just not as easy. The other thing, which just happened, which is you now, in order to hear the host, which was Sean Spicer, you wear your AirPods. I'm not going to put them in now. It used to be when I was on TV, I had what's called an IFB, and I can go grab and show you that, which is an earpiece that attaches to a remote monitor that you're wearing, so it's all hardline, or you can put it into your phone if you're out in the field, and it's wired this way. So that's how you hear the anchors talking to you. So now that we're all guests on TV you've seen in the last 2 years, you don't see them in studios as much, you see them at home. As I said, I don't like it. I love TV studios. I've been in TV. My first job in TV, I don't know if I ever said this before, my first job in TV was as an intern, actually I was paid at NBC News as an intern and when I was still in college, and then got a job at NBC News, nightly news, when I graduated. So I've been in this business for a long time. And I like TV newsrooms. I like studios. I do not like being at home doing it. And things go wrong. So what went wrong today is in order to hear Sean, I had to wear AirPods. And the thing about AirPods is they are made, I'm just going to put them in for 1 second, and you're going to see that they completely fall out of my ears because I don't care what person has decided the small is smaller than my ears. And so they kept falling out during the interview. And what I do when you make a mistake on live TV is just admit it as opposed to trying to hide it. The first time you could see me on the show, you'll see I kind of grabbed it and pulled it back, tried to twist it. And then I could watch when they had me off camera and they just put Dan on because they knew I was struggling with it. I grabbed it off the floor, put them in, and sat up again. So with live TV, you just kind of have to roll with it. But I just said openly on the air, sorry about my AirPods falling out of my ears because it was so clear to the audience and I knew it was distracting. I do actually, when I run, and I'm going to do a video on this, I have these rubber things I use and I put them on my AirPods when I'm exercising and running. I'm going to do a whole separate video on that after this. But this is just to tell you how TV has changed and is different. And I'm obviously not the biggest fan, but over on YouTube, a couple of things you'll notice about me is my hair is blown dry out, which on these YouTube videos you've seen so far, I have not blown out my hair. I wear it wet, I put it down, I do a little, and that's it. But on TV, real TV, network TV, you gotta have your hair kind of blown out and smooth. And if you're in a studio, which as I said, unfortunately they're not doing right now, they have professional hair and makeup people. I was in local news, I didn't get that. Local news, I did my own. It usually takes about an hour. I mean, it's time consuming and it's a pain and nobody likes doing it. Network TV, when you're on, like when I've been on CNN or Fox or MSNBC, in studio, they do your hair and makeup for you, which is delightful. When you're home, you do it yourself. So it took me, it's the other thing you'll see, I look different today because I have a ton of TV makeup on. And I probably will do another video just on what is TV makeup versus regular makeup, but it's a lot heavier, it's a lot thicker. I absolutely hate wearing it. I always, when I'm on TV, I put it on at the last minute of the day before I'm on, and I wipe it right off as soon as it's over. I don't mind wearing a medium amount of makeup, which is what I've been doing on YouTube, but I generally don't like wearing makeup. But on TV, it's an absolute must. It's not optional. Men wear it and women wear it. And men are self-conscious of it. I get it, but they do. You have to, because it's distracting to the viewer. When you're shiny or when you're uneven, they'll just be looking at that, and the point is for them to hear what you're saying, to watch the news. So it's not really vanity. It's really just what we've learned over decades and decades of television, what distracts them. The other thing is you have to wear a lot of powder. So I don't do this for YouTube, but I keep this powder compact. It's MAC. I'm not getting sponsored for it, but it's the best one, and a lot of people on TV use this brand, and they have this blotting powder. So I'm constantly as I'm sitting here. And the reason I have to do this 1,000 times before my hit times on TV is because I'm sitting under bright, hot lights. And in a TV studio, they're even hotter. At home, they're pretty warm. So at the end of my YouTube videos, I've been pretty hot, but I'm not powdering through it. So I look shinier. I look less professional and smooth. The other thing about live TV, and that is different than YouTube, is I will stare straight into the camera and never look away from it. I won't look down at a piece of paper. I won't look down at my notes. You'll see me just looking like this all the time. And the weird thing about doing it is I'm staring into the camera even when somebody else is talking. And it's a skill that I had to learn. I just learned when I first started doing TV. They tell you just look straight into the camera. And then last thing I will say about TV, and I can do a ton of background behind the scenes things on national television's life, but the hardest part, and I said this to some of my girlfriends who were on TV the other day, I said, I think the hardest thing is the listening face. Because very often you're on with somebody else. You're on with an anchor, you and an anchor, or you and an anchor and another guest, like I just was on Newsmax with Dan Eldridge, who I originally reported here on my Substack and here on YouTube, owns Maxim Shooting Supplies in Illinois, and is putting an ATM machine in his store. So he and I were all on. So when Dan's talking, I have to still stare directly into this camera, as you see I'm doing now. It's very strange. It's not something you ever do. And it's especially weird when you're sitting at home and there could be things about you and people about you, and you're staring into this camera and smiling. And I was saying to my girlfriends the other day, recently, because it came up, about how hard the listening face is on TV. And we laughed about it because you have to kind of smile a little bit or else you look too mean. And you don't know if you want to have your mouth open or closed. So we all have different methods of how we do our listening face. But I've had people tell me I look mean or I look angry or I look too happy. So that's a whole other thing that is only specific to being on TV and not being on YouTube. Because on YouTube, I'm just talking. That being said, what I really want to do is start doing interviews here and having the people that I interview all the time for my Substack do it on video. But tech question of the day, does anybody know how I can tape interviews on Zoom and record them and download them and put them onto YouTube? So let me know in the comments. You guys have been so helpful. I think I got the lights better. Responding to the tech answers from today, I changed the settings on the webcam thing, and I think I made it less yellow. I'm not sure. There was no default setting, so I got a little confused with that, and I was rushing to do this show. I've changed the lights. They're now on the 1 out of 10 on warmth. So, but I can see now I'm staring down at myself. I do still look yellow, so I don't know what that's about. And if anyone has any ideas, let me know. And I'm sitting on my stool. And thankfully, I'm not having to use AirPods that fall out of my ears. And I will do a video specifically on what I do to keep these things in my ears, because I use the smallest ear thing. I even got new ones off Amazon for like a bunch of small ones of the little, rubber things, and they still fall right out. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for telling your friends to subscribe. I'm super excited. I've gone from, I think, 500 or 600 to 900 in 1 week. So that's really good. And starting to get more people watching. If you have any ideas on how I can spread the word that I'm on YouTube, let me know. I've been putting it on Facebook and Twitter and a little bit on Instagram, and people just aren't clicking through. So I'm really not sure. They click through more on my Substack. So let me know what you think about that as well. I'd love the encouragement. And have a nice day. If you're new here, subscribe. Please subscribe, because then you know I have a new video coming up. All right, now I'm going to go wipe off all this makeup and be back to my natural self. Okay, have a good day.